The WNBA is at a pivotal point in its league's history. Candace Parker, Sylvia Fowles, and Sue Bird have all entered retirement over the last couple years, and Diana Taurasi is also on her way to retirement over the next year or so. Today I want to look ahead to what the WNBA could look like 5 years from now, aka a league led by Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, and A'ja Wilson towards the end of her prime. I may look very dumb with some of these rankings, but you know, you win some, you lose some. I've seen this done before in the past for the NBA side of things, and yeah, it didn't age too great. So this is completely subjective. You might have your different viewpoints on different players, where they are 5 years from now. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyways, let's get right into it. Before we get into the top 25, I want to include some honorable mentions that aren't on the main list, but you can make a case for them on the main list as well. So here's a list of players that are just older, that'll be 32 or older by 2029. Chelsea Gray, Jonquel Jones, Collier Copper, Alicia Gray, Jordan Canada, Kelsey Mitchell, and Enrique Gumbawale. These players could be at that level, but it's so hard projecting when a player's prime is going to stop and when they're just going to take a complete fall off from their peak. Some of these players might be steady. Some of these players might have a very hard downfall suddenly. So you just really don't know there. And there's also some other players that I think the upside is extremely high. Diamond Miller, Rickea Jackson, Camila Cardoso, Jordan Horson, and Angel Reese. Reese has a chance of being up there. It just depends on her finishing. Can she continue to improve with just being a point forward type of player? That's the highest of upside, being able to kind of run things in transition and score out of that. Some more players that I think have extremely high upside but are younger. Some of these players are either international or they're playing in college basketball right now as well. And Ashlyn Watkins has extremely high upside. I think she could be a defensive anchor on a team, on a title team, potentially. It just depends on how her offense develops over the next couple of years. But anyways, now is into the actual top 25. Getting into the top 25, I couldn't decide who I wanted to put in at 25, so I just gave her two different players. So 25B is Ariel Atkins, 25A is Aaliyah Edwards, 24 is Layla Khan, 23 is Hannah Hidalgo, 22 is Flau'jae Johnson, and then 21 is Nalissa Smith. Hannah Hidalgo was someone I'm actually higher on as a prospect compared to some players I have higher on this list, but the adjustment process is longer and harder for guards, specifically small guards like Hidalgo, who's 5'5", 5'6", maybe 5'7" on a good day. So I think Hidalgo is going to be a very high-level player, probably top 15, top 10 at some point, but it just may take longer. At 20, I have Kelsey Plum. At 19, Olivia Miles. At 18, Madison Booker. At 17, Janiah Barker. And at 16, Kiki Iriafen. With Plum, she's going to be 34.7 at the start of really May in 2029. That's older, but I think her game translates extremely, extremely well to succeeding at that age. There's not often players that are 35 plus that are playing at a high level. In fact, like top 20 level, it's just not often. There's some players, maybe there's 3 to 4 players per year, maybe less than that. But I think Plum has that ability just with her shooting, with her feel, and just her off-ball movement. That stuff just translates with age. Into the top 15, at 15 I have Napheesa Collier. She plays for Minnesota right now. She'll be 32.5 at the start of the 2029 season. She's playing at a top 5 to 10 level right now, but I just don't see her as a player that is a number one on a title team. I don't know how exactly her game translates with age. I think it translates well, but I don't think it translates as well as A'ja Wilson or it translates as well as Breanna Stewart. She's going to be really good at this age, so I have her at 15. Izzy Mabigor already has 4 years under her belt, and she's only 2 years older than Caitlin Clark and the other rookies coming in. She has just a lot of experience at the professional level in terms of just playing internationally and whatnot. She was an all-star this past season, so she's already a top 25 player at minimum, and she's only going to get better. She can shoot a little bit. She's only going to get better shooting over time. She's a very versatile defender. I think she has top 5 defender in the league upside. With all that stuff, positional value, I think she's going to be a top 15 player, so I've got her at 14. Like I talked about with Ezzy, Shakira Austin's defensive upside is through the roof. I think she has a chance of being a multi-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, so I have her at 13. She can really defend almost any spot on the court. She is, in my opinion, the most versatile defender right now, and she's only going to get better. The offense, she needs to improve the free throw shooting, expanding her game out as far as shooting, but she's an incredible driver, good handle for her size, just all of these unique skills that I think she's going to really untap over the next couple of years. So by 2029, I think she's going to be easily top 15 player in the league. I think she's going to be one of the best defenders in the league. All of this stuff just gets me really excited about Shakira Austin's upside. There's some Lauren Jackson light with Cameron Brink's game, elite movement skills like Austin, but the thing with Brink is she has the chance of being a shooter and like a real three-point shooter. She shot low 30s, but she's a really efficient free throw shooter. The indicators are there. She's got very good touch. Brink just needs to shoot it more. She needs to untap like a one dribble pull up three. If she gets there, the shot gets there, we could be talking top 5, top 10 potential. Also, one of the best defenders in the league potential. It just depends on fouling. Can she get that down? Can she stay on the floor? But I really like Brink's upside. I think she was no doubt my number 2 prospect in this year's draft. So yeah, Cameron Brink at 12. 3 college prospects in my top 15. I made a video on Flau'jae recently. One of the most elite prospects, one of the most unique prospects we've ever seen from the guard position. There's just never been someone like her. Extremely athletic, extremely shifty, extremely creative on both sides of the ball. With Flau'jae, she's only going to be 23 going on 24 in 2029. That's why I don't have her higher. But I think even then, entering year 3, I think she's going to be a top 10, top 15 player at that point in time. The skills are there. The upside's there. She's going to be really fun to watch. Rhyne Howard's already been a 2-time All-Star through 2 years in her career. Very elite scorer. One of the best off-ball shooters I think we've ever seen in the sport. With Rhyne Howard's game, it comes down to the finishing. Can she continue to expand her offensive game in terms of just driving and being able to create downhill? If she gets there, I think we're talking top 5, top 10 potential. Can really defend as well. Just a very solid defender. Not league-changing, but just very solid. And that's why I have her at number 10. It doesn't make sense that Jackie Young's only 26 right now and will only be 31 going on 32 in 2029. She is one of the best shooters in the league, one of the best athletes in the league, one of the best finishers in the league, and just one of the best overall just defenders as well. There's so many skills there with Jackie Young's game. The only reason she's not higher is just positional value. I think point guards and centers I just value a little bit more, but I think she's a very quality number 2 on a title team. Right now, you know, she's like a number 3 or number 4, but that's just because the situation with Vegas is just so unique. But we look ahead, post-super team era, I think she has a chance of being that elite number 2 next to A'ja Wilson. Moving forward, at 8, I have Sabrina Ionescu. She's already a top 10 to 15 player right now, so by 2029, I think she'll still be at that level. The playmaking, the shooting, all of that stuff is going to be there. And then at 7, I have Breanna Stewart. With Stewart's game, I think it also translates really well with age, similar to Kelsey Plum. I think with Stewart's game, it translates similar to what we're seeing with Kevin Durant on the NBA side. The elite shot making, the elite size, movement skills, all of that stuff with Stewart's game is kind of like how it's been with KD. It might fall off a little bit, but I think we're still talking top 10 player in terms of productivity. At 6, I have Aliyah Boston. Boston was one of the best offensive centers in the league last year as a rookie. The processing speed, being able to pass out of the post, score out of the post, being able to work on face-ups, all of that was there as a rookie. The next step is improving the defense. She was an elite defensive prospect. I think it gets there, but right now that's the next step. And once she gets there and once it fully comes to fruition, it's going to be scary with her and Caitlin Clark. In my opinion, has a chance to be the best duo in the league. So yeah, I think with Boston, it's an easy number 6 pick for me. A couple months back, I made a video about Juju Watkins and why I think she could be a top 25 to top 30 player in the league right now. That was sort of my sentiment in that video. But with Watkins, I think she has top 5, top 10 potential almost from the jump once she goes into the league in 2027. So she'll be going on 24 in 2029. So I have her at 5. I think the skills in terms of just her scoring ability, the playmaking, the defensive creation, being able to force turnovers, all of that's there. And I believe we're talking about a top 5 player and one of the best prospects we've ever seen. 26 years old, Satou Sabally finished top 5 in MVP last season. With Satou's game, extremely unique movement skills, being able to drive, create, shoot, defend. All of this is just a unicorn. I don't like the term unicorn, but with Satou, it really just speaks to how unique her game is. 6'4", she'll only be 31 years old in 2029. She's already playing at that top 5 to top 10 level right now. So assuming the injuries aren't a long-term concern, she's had injuries. She's dealing with an injury that's going to keep her out for the start of this season. She missed time 2 years ago. She's missed time before that. There's a lot of concern in terms of her injuries, history, and all of this. But if she's healthy, we are talking about a top 5 player. At 3, I have UConn's Paige Bueckers. With Bueckers, she is an elite processor. Like I mentioned in my draft board video a month or so back, maybe less than that now, she was the second player over the last 15 seasons to make 55% of her twos and 40% of her threes on 10 2-point attempts per game and 5 3-point attempts. She is one of the most efficient prospects. She is one of the most high field prospects in terms of being able to pry open passing windows with her passing ability and being able to create so many advantages. She never turns over the ball. She is a very high level defender in terms of just being able to make plays as a helper. All of this just makes me confident that we have a top 3 player. There's injury concerns as well, similar to Satu, but I believe if she's healthy, we have a top 3 player, and she could almost be at that level in a couple of years from now. A'ja Wilson has the chance to put together one of the best resumes we've ever seen from a professional basketball player at any level. With Wilson's game, she is only 28 right now. She'll be only 32, going on 33 in 2029. I believe she's going to be at this level. I believe her game translates with age. I believe the feel, all of this makes me confident that her game could translate with age. Only 32. We see Alyssa Thomas. She's playing at 32 right now. Very high level player. So I don't think 32 is, maybe it's towards the end of her peak, but I don't believe we're not seeing a top 5 player at this point in her career. She's going to be one of the all-time greats, and she's already one of the 10 best players of all time. In my opinion, Caitlin Clark is a top 5 prospect in WNBA history. She is the best guard prospect we've ever seen in this game. She has a limited range, one of the best playmakers we've ever seen in this game. I believe she is a pillar of women's basketball moving forward, and I believe she will be the number 1 player in 2029. You can make an argument for A'ja still being at that level. Maybe you believe Stewie will still be at a top 5 level. Maybe you believe Paige could be that number 1 or number 2 player. But for me, I believe Caitlin Clark has the highest chance of being at that level. She's going to be one of the best players this year, and by 2029, she's going to be in the middle of her prime at 27 years old. That said, this was an adventure. This was a very hard video to do. Projecting the future is nearly impossible. A lot of this is going to look very dumb in 5 years, but maybe some of these takes turn out to be pretty smart of myself. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below. If you have any future ideas of players I should spotlight or different videos I should make about the WNBA. If you're a new fan or just a lifelong fan, I can make more in-depth videos about certain topics. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you can help me get to that point, it would be greatly appreciated. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.